Señor Cooler!
Hello, I'm Brogan Brainstorm. I'm finishing up my E3 recaps with Square Enix. There's only one conference left, and that would be the PC Gamer one, but because I just got lucky, and my days off were pretty much almost every single E3 conference, the only one I'm going to be missing, at least in terms of live real streaming, is the PC one. I wish I could have seen that now that I finally have a PC that's worth paying attention to for that kind of stuff. But I'll probably get to it later. These videos will probably be up a little bit after E3, maybe a day or two. I hope. I can always hope, right? Anyway, Square Enix. This was the worst one in all of E3. It's not physically possible for the PC one to go worse than this. Wow. Square Enix they did not try at all. The only thing worth watching in this was the Kingdom Hearts one. As for Final Fantasy VII, I talked about that in the Sony reveal, because that's when they showed it off first, but they just played the same trailer again. It still looks good. But obviously, if Square Enix went first, that Final Fantasy VII reveal would have been... You know what? It would have been ignored at first. Because Square's conference was awful. And people would probably have just stopped watching in the middle, given up on them. And that we would have to hear about Final Fantasy VII later. But with the Sony conference, all eyes are peeled. Especially after they opened with Last Guardian. This entire Square Enix conference just felt like Sony was trolling us. Almost all of the speakers were spoken Japanese and had a translator. Which, I don't begrudge them, that's fine. I don't have anything against the Japanese language, but you can't just hold a press conference and expect to translate everything everyone is saying. You need to do it like Nintendo does, where everyone either speaks English, or brief English followed by translator, on a rare occasion, if they're really important. The reason why we are okay with Miyamoto getting a translator is because it's Miyamoto. You can't expect to hold an audience's interest if you're translating everyone. It eventually just devolves into a lot of background noise where there's two people talking at the same time. One you can't understand and one that doesn't sound like he's very enthusiastic about it. Furthermore, about half their trailers were all heavily narrated. When I say narrated, I mean that someone was explaining what we were seeing in the games. They were explaining what a video game is. Like, the different features, like you can go into towers and destroy them. You need to defend against the enemies. You can craft weapons. And they sounded so bored while they were saying it too. And I'm like, almost all of them were doing this. And I'm thinking, if you just showed the footage with audio and music, it would be so much better. We can see the things that the narrators are describing. The narrators are taking away from it rather than adding to it. I started off with Just Cause 3. A lot of narrations, so it made it really tough to care about that, especially since I'm not exposed to the series. They announced a new Nier game. I have no idea what Nier is. Some of the fans seem to be very excited. They're like, oh my gosh, a new Nier. Like, I saw that on Skype. But as far as, like, okay, I just don't know the series. That's all it is. And that's happened a lot. That's happened a lot with some of the obscure revivals here. By the way, that reminds me, Xbox did not show anything new from Phantom Dust. Whatever. Anyway, one of the things that everyone just immediately noticed about the Square conference, especially after Nier, is that there's almost no one in the audience. It's like, it's gotta be less than 50 people in that conference room. Not stadium, not like Sony had. No, conference, like, room. And so whenever there's applause, there's like, it's awful. There's scattered applause, it's very unenthusiastic, and you can see the people not clapping and not caring about what was just announced. All applause is awkward, scattered, and just totally unenthusiastic. And, like, when they announced a Nier game, everyone's like, okay. And then they brought out the Masked Man. I do not remember what he was talking about, or what game he was promoting, but they brought out this creepy dude in a mask, just because stunts. Just because it's E3, we'd have to do a public stunt thing. And he just stands there and peers into your soul. So that was disturbing. He was followed by a guy who had the fakest looking wig anyone had ever seen. He had the biggest, fluffiest hair you could imagine. And again, they're talking Japanese, the translator is talking real boring. The translator is not putting any emotion or enthusiasm into it. Enthusiasm? Yeah. And so I'm already having trouble paying attention to what they're saying. But now I'm focused on the fact that there was a creepy dude in a mask and there's a dude with a fake wig. The fakest. So then we had Rise of the Tomb Raider, which we've seen a few times already. But now, this time, they've added more developer talk. Which I tuned out, because again, it was probably translated. I don't even remember at this point. The Sony conference, my eyes just kind of glazed over, and I don't... It's not really possible to really recollect anything that happened. The only reason I can remember anything is because I took notes. Then we had Lara Croft Go, which is a mobile game, along the same veins as the Hitman Go and the Hitman Sniper that they have. And there's apparently dragons. I swear I saw a dragon at the end of that trailer. Tomb Raider has dragons? Are you kidding me? So then there's another Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Do not care. Of all the MMOs that I've said I don't care about in this, I'm probably not going to play Final Fantasy XIV. That's the least likely one for me to play. I'll probably play Destiny before that, and I have a... You know what? Square, they got to do a Realm Reborn. No one gets a second chance like that with MMOs. I think Elder Scrolls thinks they're having a second chance, but honestly, no, I don't think that Square deserved a second chance with 14, and I don't think that now that it's apparently out and some people like it, I don't think I should support it. That's not the kind of behavior I want to support. I don't want to encourage that. I don't want that to become a trend. Trend of releasing it broken, fixing it later, and apologizing. No. If it just happens to have problems, then it's okay to fix it later. But if you release it and like there's like the way Nintendo did it with like Lumiose, like when Pokemon X and Y released, Lumiose City would corrupt your save file if you saved in there. And I don't think they really could have foreseen that. Or, let me rephrase that. I can more easily see how that could have slipped through. But they fixed it when they realized there was a post-release problem. Not with Final Fantasy XIV and Elder Scrolls Online. They had to have known it wasn't that good. when it came out. Then they announced Dragon Quest Heroes, which looks alright, and at this point all the people in Skype are going, "Where's Kingdom Hearts 3? We don't care about this stuff. Where's Kingdom Hearts 3? And then they start up the Kingdom Hearts music, and mobile game. Everyone got pissed over that. Kingdom Hearts Unchained. and I quote, the people on Skype said, "Flaccid scattered applause" from the audience. Even at Square's own conference, people just do not care about Kingdom Hearts Unchained. They just clap because they have to. And then they actually, for realsies, show off Kingdom Hearts 3 footage. A few cinematics, a lot of gameplay. And they did it right. It looks amazing. And I hate Square. It looks amazing. It really does. It really looks like it's gonna live up to the hype. But damn it, Square. Something is wrong with their heads. By trolling us and teasing us like this. Why do you do this, Square? And so that should have been how it ended, honestly. But they kept going, so they replayed the same World of Final Fantasy trailer. They replayed the Final Fantasy VII trailer. They talked more at length about Hitman. And I'm going, okay, did in the last 12 hours you come up with the rest of the name of the game? Nope. Or maybe they did. Maybe it's called Hitman Enter a World of Assassination. Come with me and you'll see a world of pure assassination. I can't sing that well, and I don't remember the lyrics to that song, so that was probably painful for all of you. You're welcome. Still more bearable than Square's conference. The Hitman trailer also had more narration. And then they had a montage, and when I say a montage, I mean they showed 3 games and talked about it none, which would be Hitman Sniper, this game called Triad Wars, and Final Fantasy 15. They should have shown 15. They should have talked about it. I don't care what's happening with Kingdom Hearts Unchained, or Just Cause, or even Rise of Tomb Raider, or Hitman. No, you have Final Fantasy 15 under your belt, and you just kind of sweep it under the rug, you kind of just show a glimpse at it. You have that. You've been working forever on it. Don't tell me you don't have anything to say about it. You have everything to say about everything else. For me, the big surprise out of this was the new Star Ocean game. Integrity and Faithlessness. Which is one of the worst titles I could possibly imagine for it. It's still not as bad as Infinite Undiscovery. But man, that's a wordy title. You could have named it anything else. Star Ocean Dimensions, Star Ocean Explorers, Star Ocean Adventure, whatever. Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. Ugh! It's way too wordy. Yeah, it looks good. Now I want to replay the Star Ocean games. Then they had a few other things, and then they kind of ended it all with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I need to play the Deus Ex games. I have them. I have a lot of games on my backlog that I just haven't played yet. That's just how it turned out. But, does it look good? Sure. Yes. And then they talk forever, and it just kind of sort of ends. Flaccidly and unsatisfyingly. Ooh. Square had the worst one of the bunch. They really did. Even EA, who brought out Pele to talk, was more interesting. I mean, come on, it's the third day. It's the third day of the E3 press conferences. You gotta really know how to end it. You can't just keep trudging along, dragging your feet. If you're at the end of E3, you need to really have a better show than this.